When a tragedy occurs at the exact intersection of sacred numbers, historic water, and political transition, rationalism demands we call it coincidence. Power, however, does not deal in coincidence. Power deals in intent and consequence. As the waters of Kariba closed over the hull of the Mbuya Nehanda on the 11th of August, two competing interpretations emerged from the metaphysical architecture of the state. Two distinct readings of the same catastrophic coordinate. The first views the sinking as a cold, deliberate sacrament of consolidation. The second views it as a violent, uncontainable omen of spiritual rebellion. Consider the first calculus of the blood seal. Throughout the history of archaic governance, dynastic transitions are never ratified by ink alone. When a regime moves to restructure its constitutional foundation, when it crafts an instrument like Constitutional Amendment Bill Number 3 to secure an unassailable political horizon, it attempts to declare a new dispensation. In the esoteric logic of statecraft, passing through the gateway of the 11, the portal unlocked by the return of the Zimbabwe bird after 137 years, demands an offering. The ferryman does not cross for free. Under this hypothesis, the disaster was not an accident of maintenance. It was a calculated payment. To anchor a dynasty against the coming turbulence, the elite must appease the darker consuming currents that helped them forge the state in 66. The vessel christened with the matriarch's name becomes an altar. The innocent lives on board, including the absolute vulnerability of an infant, are transacted into the deep to pay the spiritual tariff required to cement absolute political dominance. In this reading, the elites are absolute masters of their ritual theater. They have paid the price in blood, and the new order is consecrated. Now, consider the terrifying alternative to physical rupture. What if the ruling class is not in control? What if this tragedy was not a sacrifice they offered, but a verdict delivered against them? In Shona cosmology, spirits are not passive ideological assets to be summoned and dismissed at will. To drag the sacred name of Nehanda onto an unseat-worthy vessel, to exploit her memory for personal enrichment while the populace suffers, is to commit the ultimate desecration. When sacred symbols are degraded, the spirit does not bless the state. It manifests as Ngozi, the unappeased, retributive force that exacts justice upon the lineage of the transgressor. Look at the symbol. the matriarch's vessel did not cross, it sank. In the language of political semiotics, the drowning of a sovereign namesake is the most catastrophic omen a regime can receive. It signals that the ancestral mandate, Tsoka Dzeo Mambo, has been revoked. And within the shadows of the state apparatus, where rival factions wage silent wars behind closed doors, a disaster at this exact numerological coordinate could be an offensive strike. A metaphysical warning shot fired from within the corridors of power, proving that the regime's spiritual canopy is cracked, compromised, and taking on water. This is the Great Divergence confronting the Zimbabwean consciousness. If the sinking was a calculated sacrifice, we are governed by an oligarchy willing to feed its own children to the abyss to preserve its throne. If the sinking was a spiritual omen, we are watching a regime whose hubris has finally broken the metaphysical scales. A state whose vessel is being dragged into the depths by the very ghosts it tried to manipulate. Either reality presents an unyielding indictment, because when the sacred is weaponized for power, the water always demands its reckoning.